Well, I'll say this for New York. Everything is leading to this moment. So, with that being said, Knicks in five. Why am I so confident? I want to say it's sweet, to be honest with you. But I get Indiana one game. I'm sorry, but I'm confident. I'm just, it's just a spray confidence, and I'm just confident that we're gonna win in five. I should say sweet. I really should say sweet.
Say it with your chest. Come on.
Five.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another week of the greatest podcast on this side of the world. This is Get Off the Damn Fence, and we are here. I'm Larry Caution, your host, joined by co-host Calvin Thomas and our other
Who that other guy?
Justin B.A. the Barber Harris. Now, he looks like he's in disguise tonight, but y'all know who he is. Y'all know who he is. And just in case y'all forgot who he was,
Well, I'll say this for New York. Everything is leading to this moment. So, with that being said, Knicks in five. Why am I so confident?
the man said what he said. The man
that was a week
said
ago.
what he said 1 week ago. Folks, thanks for tuning in tonight. We really truly appreciate y'all. I kept that date on the bottom because I said, is it going to be deja vu? No. It's a new week. Today's the 28th, and we appreciate you tuning in tonight. But we're going to get into all things NBA, but I want to open up where it needs to open up tonight, and that is talking about a game that, a series that has taken the world by storm. But I want to give the floor to Justin to be the Barber Harris. Justin, the floor is yours. Tell us where we are and how did we get here.
Mhm. So when I said Knicks in five, I said like the series is gonna be over in five. Um, it's just that we the ones that might be going home. It wasn't the best. We didn't play the best. Um, I think a lot of things is catching up with us. I think like I said in the video, all things is leading to this moment. It's just all the negative things is leading to this moment. Tibbs and his coaching rotations. These guys are coming out there. He don't know where to put players no more. He just knows that he can't play our main guys 40+ minutes because that's leading right into the Pacers' hands. All they do is run up and down the court. We not ready for that right now. We got Mikal Bridges trying to lock up Halliburton, and we making him into the best point guard this side of the goddamn Mississippi. It's just not and thirdly, we're starting to see that Jalen Brunson, in which I've been telling y'all since the beginning of the season, I need to see him average 10 plus assists. That'd be great. He is not. He is turned into Jalen Allen Iverson Brunson, and it's just that's not winning formula for us in this series. Cat is Cat is cat. Cat can be very catty at times.
Y'all got the reason you ain't in the sweep.
We talked about that last week.
But
Up and down.
He the reason they in the
up
sweep.
sometimes, and sometimes he doesn't. And now he has a knee contusion, in which hopefully he's man enough to push through.
That's right.
The series ain't over.
That
We coming home, and if we win this game and we play better on the road anyway, win game 6, we right back at it for game 7. We're going, it's a toss up there, and the pressure's back on Indiana. But I really think that one key needs to be made. I think OG needs to play Halliburton for most of the time. That leaves Pascal Siakam to do what he needs to do, but I take that over Halliburton looking like point guard mode right now. Point guard,
Look like Magic Curry out there.
He can do it all. He just had 30 plus, 15 assists, plus 10 rebounds, and no turnovers. I mean, at this point, it's nothing that we're doing right now. He's just out there. He out there hooping. First, I'm glad you showed this pick because this pick is so suspect. He should have closed his mouth. So that's on him for doing that. So it is what it is. We're in a whole different period of time. Reggie Miller did it right, ice cold. This is very suspect. So shout out to Tyrese on that one. But it's It's not looking good, guys.
Calvin, thoughts on this series?
Can I say that this series turned on its head in game one? Y'all were up 9 points with a minute left and lost that game.
If you win that game, very show, y'all were blowing them out.
If you win that game, it's 2-2, and you got home court, and you going home, you got home court. It's a completely different series, and the view completely different. Losing game one sets y'all down that path, in my opinion, because you win that game, you split at home, and then you get one in Indiana. It's 2-2. This is a whole different tone, a whole different conversation. Game one being up 9, and I think they were up 13 with like 2 minutes left. You're up 9 with a minute left, and you go to overtime. You almost lose in regulation, and then you lose that ball game. It was a week ago tonight. We had that whole conversation via text. That's where the series turned, in my opinion. That's where Indiana got so much confidence. And when he did that, y'all didn't step up in game two at home. That said a lot, in my opinion. That said a lot. I don't know if it was fear, if it was just scared of the moment. And I'll go back and agree with you on this point. Your Brunson point is right on. The offense flows better when he's not on the floor. I'm not saying the offense is better, but there's more ball movement. There are more open shots when he's off the floor and he's not doing this one-on-one. I gotta take it over. I gotta take over. I gotta create everything. And I think the offense flows better. And if you hit open shots and you get some better and you hit those shots, then you score more points. But there's better ball movement when Brunson's on the bench. And I don't know why Tibbs waited until the Eastern Conference Finals to start playing more people. If you want to say that Indiana was running them out the court, okay. You can get easier baskets as well. You're more talented than this team. You have better players in this team, yet and still they're getting whatever they want. And you have 2 shutdown defenders, and you cannot stop Halliburton. I'm looking at this team so differently now. I had hopes for you guys. I wanted to see New York in the finals. I think the world is better. The basketball world is better when New York is in the finals. I want to talk about what's the possibility with Indiana, Oklahoma City could mean for ratings. But at least right now, show some heart. Win game 5 and let's see what happens. But look, one game has turned the series completely around and changed how everyone views it.
Now I do have to challenge something you just said, and just a little bit, because you said that New York has better talent. I think they're more top heavy for sure if their players come to play. I think the problem is you had games where even the game that they won in this series, Cat had 4 points through 3 quarters and had an explosive fourth quarter. 20 in the fourth. He had an explosive fourth quarter. But you can't have that type of inconsistent play. And then the problem you also have is when you made that trade, and I know that, Justin, you talked about this previously, y'all made that move to beat Boston. And effectively, that worked. It worked. You went out and got Bridges. You put that team together. But I think you gave up some of your defensive identity. I think you gave up some of your toughness. And I'm not saying, huh?
For who? For Bridges?
For Bridges.
They gave him 5 picks. They gave him 5 picks. They ain't give him no.
But not necessarily Bridges. For Cat. For Cat, you gave up DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, and I get Randall.
They wouldn't re-sign Hartenstein. They wouldn't re-sign.
You don't think Hartenstein was ever going to be?
They couldn't re-sign him. They
couldn't re-sign him. He wanted too much. We just didn't have enough money.
They couldn't pay him what Oklahoma City paid him. So yeah, that was never.
You lost. I think some of that when you say they run a short. What you run 9 men? You know what I mean?
No, Tibbs run about 7, maybe
7. 6. You know what I mean? Pacers run 9, 10, 11, and then they got shooters that takes advantage of the fact that you can't hide Jalen Brunson. You can't hide him defensively. That is the problem. When you got Neesmith, hitting them threes, do you see like that is
7-9 one game, something like that?
When Neesmith went off in that comeback game, you still got Nembhard who can hit a shot or two here and there in key places. And then we know what Siakam do with his championship experience. And then
they had 40 the other night.
When Halliburton is playing on his game, who can Jalen Brunson realistically? You just hide him more. You would think, okay, the guy to hide him more is Neesmith. But how many times did we see Nembhard come open for a 3? Neesmith come open for a 3 because JB is looking. He get caught watching, and then you taking advantage of it. And I get it. Look, they're not household names, and we talked about this before this series because we watched what they did with Milwaukee. We watched what they did to Cleveland, and I said the way a lot of those victories over Cleveland, were comeback victories at the end. So it's hard to judge this team because it feels like the Cavs choked and they gave away those games. But no, it's something about this team where that willpower and that, give Rick Carlisle credit, the way this team runs. I mean, look, they push after every make, they push after every miss. It don't matter. And I give Halliburton credit. Look, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. I don't think he's as great as people are making him out to be by any stretch of the imagination.
I agree with that.
Over the course of seasons. But it seems to be when it's time to win, the man just turns it on. And that is something to be said. And what do we talk about Jalen Brunson? He was named the clutch player of the year. He was big time. That we have not seen that in this series.
Team All NBA.
We have not seen. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. We have not seen he be the guy who's the spark plug. And I think that has to do with when you're playing defense and you're forced to play defense consistently, and you got to worry about both sides of the ball. I don't think his offense has struggled. I get the whole assist point, but you also, to get assists, the people have to knock down the shot once you pass it to him too. And I think sometimes Cat, he just not that aggressive. I think he just loses sight of what the goal is here. Now, I thought game 4 he wasn't bad, even despite the knee injury. I thought he played tough, especially trying to keep them in the game late. They cut it to 6 at one point. And I thought, remember that tough 3 that Anunoby hit with Pascal Siakam in his face?
Yeah.
Whew, I thought that was a turning point in the game. If the Knicks was going to win, it's because of that play. But then 3 possessions in a row, empty possessions. You can't get Jalen Brunson a shot. He didn't get a shot on goal.
Did they? And one of them was a turnover. They didn't get a shot on one of them. Yeah.
So again, I'm not blaming just necessarily everything on Jalen Brunson. I don't think he's the problem offensively. Defensively, who's stopping Halliburton? Who's answering that call? Who's stopping Pascal Siakam? The defense is the problem for the Knicks. And when in years past, that was not the issue. I thought they were more of a defensive team in years past, and now I guess they traded that away to play more offensive style of game. Justin, your thoughts on that?
I think you might be just jumping the gun a little bit. We still are trying to play defense. It's just that this team is just they're shooting better. It's just
that's your identity is on defense. So how are you trying to do this? Is your identity. This is what you built your bread and butter on.
I understand. I understand that sometimes you got to switch some things up. Like I said, the point you have to stop the point of attack. OG normally guards out the best player on the opposite team. The problem is he hasn't done that. He only guarded Tyrese about 19 possessions so far. He's been on Siakam, and Siakam is kind of getting the
cooking him.
He has. So switch it up. There's no need for him to play him anymore. So try to stop the point of attack. I will switch. I will put OG on Tyrese to start things out. And I will put Bridges on no, I'm sorry, not Bridges. I'll put Cat on Siakam and just see if he can stand in his face. He's not going to drop by him like that.
So you going big like Tibbs did when he started Mitchell Robinson.
I will continue to do that. I would also find time for Deuce to come off the bench and get way more minutes than what he's getting. We need a spark. We need to push the ball as much as we can as well, and we haven't been doing that.
Well, who's the short man out? Who you're not playing then?
I will definitely. I mean, just to get him in the game. Sometimes maybe Jalen takes a quick rest. You know what I'm saying? It's okay.
Who you run the offense through then?
I say you can't have Josh Hart.
Bridges can run the offense. The person that's not going to run it is Josh Hart. He's been the problem, honestly.
Yeah. You can't have him on the court that much.
He can't defend like you want to.
He played well game 3. He's part of the reason y'all came back.
He had 5 turnovers too last game.
That's like game 3.
I know. Let Obi Toppin get off, man.
He's trying to do a lot of stuff that we don't need him to do. He's forcing a lot of stuff. So it's just not his series, and sometimes it happens to be like that. This is not the series for Josh Hart. So I would definitely give all those bench minutes. I'll give them mostly to Deuce and just let Deuce go off for real. And I think that we have that. And Jalen picks and probes too much for me. Sometimes you gotta find the crease and just go. Sometimes you just gotta take that back. Nobody that's guarding him can actually guard him. It's just simple as that. But he dribbles too much and then try to get, he does that Shea foul merchant thing. And hey, I like it when they calling it, but when they're not calling it, you can't rely. You gotta go. And then let's play some basketball after that. So we got some adjustments we need to make. I don't know if Tibbs can make those adjustments the way that most people are starting to see it. He's just not that kind of a coach. So hopefully he's not too stubborn. We'll see.
I just thought the games, especially if you look at like game 3. No, game 1, we all know that's no reason in the world y'all should have lost that game. All right, so game 3, I thought y'all did some things that, especially in Indiana, that should give you hope for game 5. I think you showed that you can win there. So I don't think that, but if y'all lose game 5, I'll say this. Does Tom Thibodeau, no, I'm saying moving forward. Mm-hmm. What does that do with the roster? What does that do to Tom Thibodeau standing as the head coach? You think so?
What's the trade?
What's the pieces?
I don't care. You call him up. What you want? Let's make something happen. He said New York was one of his places he want to be at.
Do you move Cat?
Whoever you need to move.
Okay.
What you gotta do?
I'm just asking because I think you move Cat. I don't think he is the fit that people thought he was going to. I thought he had stretches. Good, but this is what you got him for. You gotta get over this hump. You gotta get over this hump.
Look, I never thought I would be a Tom Thibodeau defender, but I mean,
I'm not blaming Thibodeau.
No. I thought Justin was. I thought he was kind of blaming Thibodeau.
I've been off and on Thibodeau all year.
The problem I had, I'm not saying the problem. The issue is, or the issue or the positive aspect, however you look at it. Next year, the East is wide open, in my opinion.
Yes, we could be right back in the same position.
So
and still
you make that move.
Outcome.
You make that move. You're right back here next year, and then Boston, whatever they do trade wise, they might have to come through you the following year. So I would have liked that aggressive.
We have a 2-year window. That's it.
But I feel like if you trade Cat, then you got to keep Mitchell Robinson, and now you got to keep him healthy as well. And I don't know. And now you have Mitchell Robinson and Giannis, who really don't stretch the floor, so there's no room to really kind of get in the paint. And what does Jalen Brunson do besides just take 15-footers all day? Like
Mitchell Robinson can come off the bench and just be exactly who he is now.
I was about to say you actually I think you're missing the point.
So
I think the problem is when you have Cat out there with Mitchell Robinson.
You got OG if he's not a part of it.
I really think that the Cat is the problem. I hate to say it, but
it's like the reason you have one win. Like I'm not. We're not
knocking that. What I'm saying is, either we bring in a coach that knows how to run plays for Cat, that knows how to get him open, that knows offense.
Who was that?
I don't care who
Mike Malone.
Is. Mike Malone was the first person that came to my mind because he actually maximized.
He had Joker.
He maxed Joker. He did. I can say that
Joker's the reason he got
Hey,
no, not.
They can have issues or whatever the case may be. But what I'm saying is, if you look at that the makeup of that team versus the makeup of Lonzo, he's a defensive coach. We don't need another defensive coach.
You need an offensive guy.
But if I can say that if I can get Cat to pass the ball a little bit more, that ain't nothing but Jokic right there.
Can we also
and then Jamal Murray is just like Jalen Brunson. That's a nice 2-2 right there.
Can we also agree that y'all between Anunoby, Josh Hart, Brunson, and Bridges, y'all can't feed the post for nothing. Like Cat gets great positioning. Y'all give him these bullshit passes. Like, there's no reason he's got to stand up and face up 15 feet from the basket after he did all this work to get on the block.
Well, half the
y'all
time
can't pass the ball inside. Anyway.
Half the time he wants to do that himself.
I'm about to say it's so rare.
But when he runs down to the paint, when he runs down, gets in the paint, and then seals off Turner, and it's
sometimes you're supposed to spread out and give him the ball.
It's swinging the ball.
It's a lost art. It's a lost art. No one does that no more. No one does that.
They need to learn. They can't throw the ball inside for nothing.
Look. I seen enough of Cat just camping out the 3-point line for the rest of my life.
Hey, that's how you get the ball. That's how you get the ball right now.
And I mean, he put the ball on the floor, and some of them he got no lift, no hops, but he gets there, get them layups. I give him credit for that. But I will say this. Now, I think Bridges have been aggressive the last 2 games, and I think
it's not enough.
Yeah, he's tried though. I'll give him credit. again, they win game one. It's 2-2 right now. So I'm not saying this is crazy. You can't choke the way you did. That's why always go back to the defensive side of the ball. The Pacers had about 111 points going into the fourth quarter last night. Now, defensively, y'all did it was a sloppy fourth quarter, but that game was there to be had. They just could not. The Pacers was missing shots, turning the ball over. They weren't great in the fourth quarter. The game was there, and the Knicks couldn't capitalize. Turnover. Excuse me. At the turnover, and it was just one of those games where you'll look back at it and like, if we had our chances and we didn't take advantage of it, and if you go back and look at it at the game lineup, but like play after play, Jalen Brunson did not take that game over in the fourth quarter as he should. And I'm going to say, maybe that's on Tom Thibodeau. Maybe he didn't spread his minutes out. Maybe he was tired. Maybe he was exhausted. But if we judge superstars according to what they do when it's time to win,
y'all got Brunson being a superstar?
I mean, he a budding superstar according to Justin. We had this discussion a couple weeks ago. We talked about Donovan Mitchell and not being able to get it done.
So it's always the superstar conversation. If does finals make you a superstar? Is that what we're saying?
I think,
and I'm probably the toughest judge on superstar.
I don't think that makes
it takes more than a year, in my opinion.
I think being big time moments and being box office to me is what makes you a superstar. And I think when you show up and you show out in big moments, time at the time, you earn that superstar moniker. Giannis, superstar. He did it.
I agree with that.
He did it. Jokic, superstar.
Yes.
Steph, LeBron,
yes.
those are superstars.
Yeah.
You mentioned everybody that went to the finals and won.
I think that's part of it.
No. Tatum, I got Tatum superstar. I got Tatum being superstar.
I don't think Tatum a superstar.
Tatum was first team All NBA 5 straight years.
Tatum was everything, but when it came to those awards,
player 5 years in a row.
Jalen Brown won those awards.
I don't think JB or Tatum is a superstar.
I think they cancel each other out. They're two high level stars.
No, I think he doesn't get the MVP vote because of JB. But if Shea wins a finals,
superstar if he wins.
Shea gonna be a superstar in my opinion. Back to back, best records in the West.
He's an MVP.
Number 2 MVP.
He's the MVP.
Finals MVP potentially.
That matters.
A superstar. I take that. He's the only one left in my opinion that has a chance.
But he could be. He could.
Y'all got Anthony Edwards superstar?
No. And we'll talk, but let's go to that now. Because I was going to even broach that subject here with Tyrese Halliburton.
No, he's not one either.
A lot of people I saw that discussion early on ESPN on both shows, and Jason Williams brought it up. He said that Tyrese is a superstar now, and I'm like, I understand the sentiment if you're saying that he's had superstar performances, but if you're going to look at playoffs and just say the big time performances in the playoffs, is Trae Young a superstar? We've seen him have some monster games against the Knicks in the playoffs where he sent them home and had some great moments that people in New York will remember forever because he ended their season. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah, okay. It just so happened these light-skinned fellas, they just y'all kryptonite for some reason. Halliburton, Young. But that don't make you a superstar because you had a great game in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, that's what a star is.
A star shines when it's time to shine. But that don't make you a superstar.
But like you said,
is James Harden a superstar?
Not currently, no. Was he in his prime?
But that's what I'm saying. Are you a superstar in
No, he can never do it.
Once you get there, are you
now there was Russ in my book.
Superstar?
Now there was Russ.
So Russ was never a superstar?
No. He had no success in the playoffs. So he put up triple doubles. What did he do in the playoffs? When he was the best player on the best on his team.
Russ is a superstar, then James Harden is a superstar.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm putting them on the same level.
That's fine.
MVPs, they both got them. Star players.
Y'all the one that made a final without the best player in KD.
Agreed.
So yeah, no.
But the reason why I set them aside from a Jalen Brunson and a Jason Tatum is at no point can I definitively say Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown was the best player on their team. I think they canceled each other out for the majority of their career. But I can say Russ was the guy in OKC when KD was gone, and he carried that team, and he was the MVP of the league while doing so. James Harden was the MVP of the league, carried the Houston Rockets and was the leader of his team, scoring machine.
Harden is closer to being a superstar than Russ.
Well, why?
Russ did nothing in the playoffs. Russ made it to the second round once post KD.
And that was Tracy McGrady wasn't in
Houston. No, I don't think Tracy McGrady was a superstar. That's another.
See, that's the problem. I think you can be an individual, talented superstar player and not necessarily find team success.
How can you be a superstar? How can you be a superstar when you don't have any postseason success? That should be
because you've had moments even during the regular season and postseason.
To me, that's what makes you an all-star. You're an all-star.
I think we can look at I think it's totality of careers wise too. If you can do it for a couple seasons, fine. But if you've had a career where you've had big time performances,
no. So
that people can look to.
This is not a shot.
Russ went to a finals. What you mean?
Did he do? Russ went with KD. KD was the best player on that team,
but he still was in the finals and was a driving force and part of that team.
He was the best player on that team. You just made that same argument.
They didn't win, so I mean, we can look at it either way.
Best player on that team. How many number twos are superstars? KD was the best player on that team in modern day NBA.
We get that, but without Russ or James Harden, do OKC get there?
Without Russ, I think they do. Without Russ, they do because James Harden want to beat San Antonio, which got them over the top to the finals.
But who's to say if Russ isn't there, they able to do whatever they did? He was still an important piece of that team. But I'm not looking at that 1 year. I'm saying the totality of Russ's totality. Russ was a superstar in this league. Yes, he was. No, he wasn't. That's your opinion. I'm telling you my opinion. Russ was a superstar. Of course he was.
So Russ superstar, Tyrese Halliburton superstar. Jason Tatum.
He's a budding. He's getting there. Tyrese only.
I don't like this word budding because I can say a lot of people.
How many years has Tyrese been in the league?
5 or 6.
About 5 or 6.
Okay.
2020 draft.
On his first contract. We'll see where he goes. But I'm not putting him at no superstar level now. Of course I'm not. But I can see if he goes on and win a finals MVP.
That goes to it.
That puts him at a whole different level.
You gotta rethink the conversation. But that still comes. I'll still have the conversation as to where the hell were the first 4 months of the season? Why did you have this great season last year, this great leading to the conference finals, and then you don't show up the first 3 months of the season? What happened there? That plays a part of it as well. You can't just say you turned it on. You didn't have a complete season.
You can argue that he was just coasting until it got time.
I don't care about no.
So if that's the case, is Luka a superstar? Because Luka coasts every first 3 months of the year as well.
Yes,
Luka went to the finals.
Okay.
Luka turned it on in the playoffs, like Tyrese has turned it on in the playoffs. What are we talking about?
Turned on for 5 games this playoffs.
He had a bad joint, but he did take his team to the conference finals.
Status? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying
he went to the conference finals.
He's barely a superstar. I'll give him that, but it's not like it's an easy decision.
I mean, that's your criteria.
I think Luka's a baseline superstar.
Weak, but I'm just saying you can write down a list of guys who you could say definitively, no doubt, you ain't got to think about it, is a superstar, and a lot of it will be because of longevity. A lot of it is because you've seen them do it time and time again, so you become accustomed to it. But you comparing a guy who's only been in the league a few years, of course it's not going to be comparable.
To your longevity argument, to say that, when did certain people in your eyes become superstars? So the ones that we agree with. So when did LeBron become a superstar? When did Steph become a superstar? When did Giannis become a superstar? Because we agree with those. Those are no doubters. But I don't think it's a longevity thing.
Giannis was a superstar until his second MVP.
Okay, that's fair. He didn't win a ring yet. Okay,
yeah, second MVP put him up there for me.
I agree. I would say LeBron was superstar's first MVP. He had already been to the finals. He won an MVP. He was arguably the best player in the game. That was.
But again, that's comparing 2 different people. Giannis, I had no expectation for Giannis.
I'm just talking about people. I'm just talking about them in general. I'm not comparing them, but I'm just talking about. You said it's a longevity thing. I'm not saying it's a longevity thing. I'm saying some people that we just look at as bona fide, no doubt MVPs is because we've seen them play for an extended period of time. Some of these younger guys. That's why I say when I think about the guys in Boston, we've seen them for a while, and they don't cross the threshold for me, even after winning the title, because it's something about them that's missing that superstar. It's not just you play on the court. And I think that's the difference between how I look at a superstar and how you might look at a superstar. For me, you can be a great player and not be a superstar. I still got to look at you as a leader, have cachet,
box office, when people
Your
think of the
threshold
game,
is lower
do
than
your
mine.
name come up? No,
Your
no,
threshold
it's
is
not
lower than
lower.
mine. Yes, it
It's,
is.
it, it
I
encompasses more
think
things.
that there are less than 10 superstars in the league, and either current or former.
No.
in my
See, that's
opinion.
the difference I'm saying. When we think of current NBA, a lot of the guys we're looking at are younger guys, or you're looking at guys who've been in the league a long time. So it's a different type of level to that superstar, how we even can judge them. When I look at a Russ was box office. I don't care what you say about winning a title. If the Thunder
I'm
was
winning
playing
a playoff series, I ain't say win a title.
okay, even if he was losing in the playoffs, guess what? Them playoff series was drawing ratings, and people was tuning in
So
because
ratings
Russ was
equate to
box
superstar
office.
as well.
Being box office is part of what makes you a superstar. Having cachet, having some type of buzz about you that people will tune in to go buy a ticket to watch you play. That is part of being a superstar. Nobody cares. I don't care how good Cade Cunningham is or Paolo down in Orlando. They're not going to carry the same weight as you talking about somebody who's more of somebody with some cachet and some punch behind their name. That's just the way the world works. You can look at the ratings and that'll tell you that. Look, I study NBA ratings, and I will tell you if Orlando was playing Detroit opposed to if New York and Boston are playing, it's going to be two different things. And a lot of that is not because of the players on the court. It's because of the market. But if Orlando's playing Detroit and Milwaukee is playing San Antonio, Milwaukee's
if Cade Cunningham was in New York, he would have.
Denver's playing and Jokic is playing.
More
that's
TV
Denver.
time. That's simple. We agree with that.
But that's what I'm telling you. The difference between what a superstar can make up the difference of, and
so
what
a superstar can do nothing in the playoffs, but they could say some shit that gets everyone excited or draws controversy, and that puts more eyes on them.
And that's my issue. We're gonna talk about Anthony Edwards in a second. Anthony Edwards has tried to push himself above to a superstar status, right? By stuff that, him just talking, his antics and things of that nature, and his play on the court. But if you ain't backing it up when the big moments count, people going to look at you like you're a fraud. And that's just the way it's going.
Russ ain't back it up when the big moments came. He was first round exits.
Russ didn't always go out first round exit.
Russ did not win a playoff series until after KD left until Houston. And that was the only time he made the second round to this year. He's made the second round twice in the last 10 years or last 12
But James
years.
Harden was a catalyst.
Yes.
So you have to be the number one option on the team. You don't have to nobody like all these super teams that we didn't see be put together. If you're not number one guy, you're not a superstar. So Steph Curry needed KD to win a couple titles. He had Clay, he had Draymond.
Steph was already made.
But Steph was the made guy. The same thing with KD. KD ain't win nothing before he went to Golden State. He ain't won nothing since.
But he overshadowed everybody else once he got there. Russ never overshadowed
Harden. On the court, he overshadowed.
Russ never played with a team the caliber of Golden State until he got older. What do you mean?
So he didn't play with PG and Melo and Steven Adams in Oklahoma City, and they didn't win a playoff series.
Melo, PG has never been PG. Let's talk about that. He's
PG 13 was third in MVP ranking because of Russ.
Is he a superstar?
They did not win a playoff series.
Was he a superstar?
No.
Okay, he's just a regular guy. So what are we even comparing? What we just talked about in Golden State?
Superstars can win a playoff series. That's my point. Superstars should be able to win a playoff series. I'm not saying they should make the conference finals. When did Russ do that? That's what we just said. He didn't do that.
You're saying Russ has never been a catalyst for being a great. There's never been a great player.
So now you're saying it has to be a catalyst. I'm saying he was never the best player on a team that won a playoff series. That's what I said. That's my statement.
And I'm telling you, that doesn't discount you from being a superstar player in this league, in my opinion.
And Calvin is saying, I agree with that. It should.
Should
discount you. Because you can't do it by yourself.
If you run up against a team that's better than you and you lose, is that like, you're no good as a player? Well, I mean, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about here? We're not judging teams. We're talking about individuals.
Because eventually you'll have your moment. Kevin Garnett had that same issue. First round exits.
And then what he do?
Eventually he got a team.
They went and got him some help.
And he went to the conference finals.
And he was the best player on that team that went to West Conference Finals.
Agreed. So did he win the title that year? No, he just went to the West Conference Finals.
He was the best player on the team that won the title.
But he went to the conference finals with the MVP.
Okay, like
That stamps you.
Russ won an MVP, and then when he got to
And
the
went
playoffs,
right out
he
the
lost.
first round.
and then won one game in the playoffs. Yes.
So who did he lose to that year?
He lost to Houston.
Was Houston any good?
Houston was a 3 seed that made the conference finals.
Okay, so they were pretty good. Like what are we
against the
talking
other guy
about here?
that arguably should have won the MVP.
Yeah, that was Harden's MVP.
But who else was on that Houston team?
Harden.
James Harden.
Who else?
James Harden.
Who else?
And James Harden.
So Harden
Exactly.
outplayed
Y'all
Westbrook.
just making
Harden
up stuff.
outplayed Westbrook.
He
So
had
as
other
I
people
said,
on that
Harden
team.
No,
was a
he
better
didn't.
team.
It was
Harden
it
still
was
was
him.
still
He had
Harden
PJ.
Westbrook.
He had a bunch of guys on that
Yeah.
team.
You said PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker wasn't instrumental in that team. What are you talking about? Like, come on, man. Russ had nobody, and we all know it. Russ was doing lobs. That's all he was doing. Him and the big guy, look like Andrew, the big guy, the rebound machine. That's all he took. Who else was on that team? Name another guy.
Victor Oladipo, Steven Adams,
Stop it.
Kevin
Get out.
Martin.
Steven Adams. That was his only other guy on the whole team.
I was going to say Serge. Like, he had help.
He had no
He
help.
didn't have. He wasn't
He
good
had
enough
no
to pick
help.
them to win a playoff
KD
series.
ran off to Golden State like a punk.
He didn't have no help when Victor Oladipo became a man in Indiana like the next year.
Yeah.
Where's Victor Oladipo now?
He got hurt.
He got hurt.
He was battling injuries since then. But
But
he
when
was
in
that
Indiana, when he was
I'm talking about OKC.
they were saying Russ was holding him back.
Russ wasn't holding him back. Russ was
Did
an
you
assist
see
monster.
what he did in Indiana versus
Yo,
after
y'all hating on Russ the
Against the King at that.
Y'all hating on Russ.
LeBron.
I will never
No,
hate on
you're
Russ.
putting him on a pedestal he should not be on.
Ain't no
That is
pedestal. I'm
crazy.
giving an example of a player who can play hard every night.
You
and
literally
did
said
play hard
Russ is a
every night.
superstar, but
and was
Tatum's not a
superstar
superstar.
status.
Like, I
Who was
don't.
not a superstar?
You literally said Russ is a superstar, but Tatum isn't. Tatum's resume right now
Nah,
is
Tatum
better
is
than
a
Russ's
superstar.
resume. And
Tatum
he's only
got
what,
no
5,
cash
6 years
into
in,
him.
7 years
You gotta
in.
have some pop to you. Nobody cares about Tatum. Who cares about Tatum?
Boston
Nobody.
does. Bigger market. They care about him.
Nobody cares about Jason Tatum. I promise you. Like nobody. If Tatum was walking down the street, they wouldn't know who he was right now.
Tatum. Okay, so
The
you're
boy 6'10". They gonna know who Tatum.
he walking down the street with Ellie
They
Mae.
don't know who he is.
People gonna pay attention to him.
Yeah, that's why he was on the bench in the Olympics. That would have never happened to a superstar. Never. It just wouldn't happen. Sorry. Jalen Brown couldn't even get on the team. Like, come on, man. These ain't no superstar. You think LeBron gonna sit on the bench this deep in his career in the Olympics as a superstar?
Well,
Stop.
the one thing that y'all did not mention, and I like to put this as a caveat. I like to have them to me it's 3-tier: all-star, superstar, megastar. Megastars are different to me.
Can we throw
It's
like
only
regular
2 of them.
star in there? Can we throw a star in there or something?
No, so it's only 2.
Oh, it's regular players. What do you
Wait,
mean?
so who are the 2?
LeBron and Steph.
I mean, we know that. That's
That's
also
it.
legacy.
Yeah, they're different levels, changing the game.
So
type players.
who are your superstars that we haven't named or are there?
You pretty much named them all.
Okay.
I wouldn't put Russ on that goddamn one.
No. I'm saying I was using Russ as an example to compare
like
him
your
to a
example.
guy.
You
From
say he was a superstar,
who-
so how's that example?
He was a superstar. He played at superstar
Uh.
level. I'm not saying he's a superstar right now, playing at a superstar level. Of course, I'm not.
Let me ask you a question. How would you rate the top 3 Thunder players overall?
KD, Russ, Harden.
I mean, I didn't think Harden would be on that list. I thought you were going to say Shea. I can't
He
include
ain't there
Harden.
yet.
Harden did most of his work in Houston. That's why I wasn't including him.
I mean, I still look.
Would you
at
put
even
Shea? Would
the
you put
Thunder.
Shea too? Would you
I'm
put Shea?
definitely putting Shea over Russ.
I was going. That's my point. That's what I was trying
That's
to get
good for
to.
y'all. I'm talking about
That's what I
me.
was trying to get to.
So you don't put Shea over Russ?
He will get there. Was he in year 3? I mean,
Shea's been around for like 6 years.
Wasn't he in like
he played 1
who
year.
he played
in,
for
in
before?
Clippers. He played 1 year in
Clippers?
LA.
Yeah.
There might be 4 or 5, and he's the second best Thunder player ever at this point right now.
Okay, that's cool, but I don't think so. That's fine.
No, I'm trying to say why.
Because Russ was the heart and soul of that team for years.
And so
what
is
are y'all
Shea.
talking about? And
So
Shea
is
will
Shea.
get there. Let him
No,
do it.
no.
So what does Shea have to do to get there right now?
Whatever your caveat is, they both got MVPs, so we scratch that. He's
Russ
about to go to the
Russ
finals
was
by
a
himself.
triple-double
He
king
led his team
multiple
to
years
the
in a row.
finals.
Russ was
He
the
led
guy.
his team to the final.
Never left. Everybody else was fleeing
Oh, so
town.
never
Russ
left.
got
Now that
traded.
comes into play. Never
Yeah.
left. Okay, gotcha.
Russ
Man,
got
okay.
traded.
It's,
out of
it's
there.
one of them things. He requested a trade.
He didn't request a trade.
Paul George just said he requested a trade. That's why he went to LA.
Paul George
Russ,
wanted out.
oh, wait. Russ called Kawhi to come to LA, and then Kawhi called Paul George and said, "You know, your boy Russ trying to leave." That's how it went down. This story's been told multiple times.
Don't matter. They lying.
I got so it's he stayed. It's the longevity. He stayed. He stayed.
It's not about that. Russ played the
He
game the
requested
right
trade
way.
3 years later.
I'll
He did
always back
he did the
Russ.
same shit KD
That's
did
the
3 years
problem.
later.
What's wrong with this league?
Gotcha.
Is y'all back these suckers. Russ ain't no
Gotcha.
sucker, and I'm always have his back.
I've
Always.
never backed KD, but
Russ, yes, you do. You clearly back KD. KD is
back
sucker.
KD.
When it joined up with Golden State to
When
go
have I
win
backed
2
KD?
rings. Get out of here, man.
When have I backed KD?
Get out of here. You just
And
called him a superstar. He was the catalyst. Like, he ain't no superstar.
KD
He
was a
ran.
superstar.
He ducked and ran. He ain't no
He
superstar.
was a superstar.
KD ain't no superstar.
Arguably the best player in the league at one point was not a superstar. That's what you're saying?
Okay, if you name MVP, that's saying you was the best player that year.
No. I don't mean. I'm not counting MVP. I'm talking about arguably. I'm talking about when LeBron was not winning MVPs, but he was the best player in the league. There was a time when people argued KD was better than him, and
I never argued that. I never argued that point.
Okay.
I said he went and linked up with the best team. So, of course, you put him on a team where they already was winning 73 games, and you add KD to it. He should be a mismatch for when you got Steph Curry, Klay Thompson shooting daggers from everywhere. Like, it's no, how can
maybe
you
Russ should have because they got a ring.
Because what happened the next year when he wasn't with them? What happened? He never been the same. KD never, and you can say injuries. Well, that's part of it. Pressure burst pipes. When you got to be the man.
No, I'm not backing KD, but I'm just saying in this instance, he was a superstar. That's all I'm saying. I'm not backing him, but
player.
He was a superstar.
Excellent talent. That's why I say you can be a great player and not necessarily be a superstar. I think he's a great player. Why isn't he a megastar like Justin Name? He got two. How many rings? KD
Well,
got.
everybody can be that guy.
He ain't that guy. We all know he ain't. Be real about it. That's all I'm saying. He had to go join up a team that was fully formed to go win 2 rings. That don't make you no superstar in my book.
I mean, look, in retrospect, the Golden State 22 ring hurt Steph's case. However, a lot of shit went right for them.
Steph overcame that when he won without all that. He won
in 22.
He won before and after, so it don't hurt. It helped his case of being that guy.
No. I say it hurts KD's case. That's what I said.
Oh yeah, of course it do. Man.
Oh yeah,
that's part of why I said what I said. And then people say, "Oh, he went and begged KD to come." Ain't begged KD to come.
It ain't like Russ had it. Russ did go to another MVP's team. Like let's call a spade.
2 of them.
What we talking about?
3 of them.
You was talking about how KD went to Golden State because he was on that team. Well, Houston was doing just fine too, and he went and joined them. Houston had just went to the conference finals, almost beat this team.
They went back to back
with Chris Paul, and then Chris Paul got traded for Russ.
Yeah.
So in the same. Russ went to DC.
He went to Houston first.
He went to Houston first to team up with James Harden, MVP. A team that almost beat this super team. So it ain't like he chose Washington over Houston.
Never the same.
No, he chose Houston over everybody else.
That punk undercut his leg and threw him into the sideboards. What's his name? That guy who took his leg out. Patrick Beverly. That sucker. That's what happened. Patrick Beverly tried to end Russ's career. He was never the same at that.
3 to 4 years.
It was like 2013 or 2014.
It's all blurred for you right now. We get
KD. What year did KD go to Golden State?
2017.
He left OKC in 2017?
Yes. 2016, 2017 season is when he went.
So they lost to Houston. No, they lost to Golden State after being up 3-1.
That was in 2015, 2016.
OKC.
2015, 2016.
The next year,
he went there.
He jumped ship.
Yes.
How many more years did Russ stay in OKC?
Like
2.
No, because the next year he finished MVP,
3.
right?
3.
Yeah.
Because his first year in Houston was 1920, year of the bubble.
Thank you. That's what it was. The bubble. It was the bubble that did it. That's the year he got hurt.
Did what?
Oh, he got hurt that year. The year
No, he got
before.
hurt in Oklahoma City.
He got hurt when Patrick Beverly undercut
In
him.
Oklahoma City.
Right. That was like
Yeah,
That was
early.
Oklahoma City. That was Oklahoma
think
City.
that
That
was
was
no
that might have
13.
been the year after they went to the finals.
Yeah, it was that early.
2012.
No, the year after 2013, 2014, 1 and 2. Because they missed back-to-back years. Because KD missed the year with the foot, and then Russ missed the next year with the knee, with the meniscus tear. It was back-to-back
He was
years.
never the same. He had to change his game.
He got a triple. He won MVP afterwards.
He did. That's why I'm proving that he's MVP. He's a superstar. He did the best he could with a bum leg.
He didn't change his game. His game stayed the same.
No, it didn't.
argument is complete crap.
He had no lift
Yo,
jumping no more.
let's just go to
Russ
the
used
next
to have a
topic,
little
bro.
lift. Let's move on to Game 5 coming up. I'm burning time because who cares about this OKC Wolves series? It's nothing. You're not getting no fight from Anthony Edwards, and then he come out and say, I don't really look
They
at
down
it like
30 right now. They down
Oh,
30.
really?
They down 30 at halftime.
Jesus
What
God.
is that talking about?
It's 65-32. It's a
They
wrap.
quit.
It's a wrap.
That's what happened. They
They
quit.
scored. Look, they scored 9 points the first quarter. When we hopped on, it was 28-9, something like
That's
that.
what I said. It was really nothing to discuss. Anthony Edwards don't care. So why should I care? This the person everybody was crowning as the face of the league, and he's the next guy. And I put Luka above him. People like, how you gonna put Luka above Anthony Edwards? Well, I mean, there's levels to this. I don't really look at it like that. I struggled. I didn't get enough shots to say I struggled. I made the right play. The man took 13 shots the last game and finished with 16 points. He was like laughing, playing it like no big deal. Him and what's his name? Julius Randle sitting in a press conference talking about SGA getting to the line too much. He ain't trying to get to the line. Made 1 3-pointer. Led the league in threes all year. Then you wait till you get to the conference finals. Go 1 for 9 from 3. Struggling left and right. So Calvin, tell me why Anthony Edwards is a superstar playing like this.
I never said Edwards was a superstar.
No, I'm just saying other people was crowning him.
Hey, look, they prematurely crowned him. They expected the Olympic experience, him to be in the best 2 guard, back-to-back conference finals. He's going to take that next step, but obviously he's not ready. I mean, everybody not built for it. And when he went back, going back to the conference, he said he didn't want to be the face of the league. That should have told you something right then and there. Not saying you have a choice in that matter, but when it's your turn to take over that mantle, you do so willingly, and you do so with the weight of the league on your shoulders. And everybody's not built like that to take on that role. They're not built like a Steph or LeBron or Kobe or somebody like that, or even a Tim Duncan who does it quietly. Everyone's not built like that. And obviously, Anthony Edwards has a long way to go. So,
yeah, I just don't like his attitude. I don't like how he nonchalant about, it is what it is, mid-bag of shells, that type of attitude. I'm not taking nothing away from him. He had a phenomenal run last year, sweeping the Phoenix Suns, beat the Lakers this year, beat Denver.
beat Denver twice.
That's
Oh,
great.
I'm sorry, last year he beat Denver.
No, they beat him last year. It wasn't this year.
Yeah.
Phenomenal last year. But then you lose to Dallas last year in the conference finals, and now you're getting smoked by OKC in the conference finals again. I'm not saying that he won't be great. I'm not saying that he
Got
won't
a long way
mature
to go, though.
and get better. But this is the problem I have when we prematurely crown these guys. And look, when he beat the Lakers, he took the lap around the arena, was cheering with the fans. He was acting like he won the NBA title that night. And that is, I think, part of
Can't
the
beat
problem.
nobody in his age range. Only beating the old guys. Can't beat nobody in his age range. What that say? These gonna be the guys you grow old with.
Justin, your thoughts on this series and Anthony Edwards as a superstar?
No, he's a star based off our previous conversation. And it's just he has got to find his way to carve himself into the finals. If you look at this whole season at totality, it didn't look like he was playing the best, throughout the whole entire season. So the fact that he pretty much progressed as far as he did, as far as he is now, is a testament to him and his team. But he got to find that right niche for him. Either it's him or it's coaching. Maybe he shouldn't hold the ball as much as he's doing. Maybe he should have a better point guard. I like to think always of Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony was a great player, but he
But
needed
got
a
point
true
guard.
point guard, you know,
That's true.
to do that. So maybe
Good
that's
example.
Anthony's thing, whereas though his decision making isn't the best. He just said, like he said it, you know, the quote and all that. I thought I had a decent game. I played within the game frame. No, that you should be scoring, bro. Like that's what you do. You really should be scoring. So if he's not, then maybe somebody else is getting his ear. Maybe somebody should be. You would think that's what Mike Conley is for as a veteran, but you know he can't really play. He can't play the position like that no more. So maybe he needs somebody else. Also, maybe you gotta get Rudy out of there. You know, Rudy probably should not be playing. Because every time Rudy's in the game, that clutters the hole, so he can't drive like that. He's getting used to it. That's why he shot so many threes this year. But either you're shooting threes, you're driving. He's all over the place. He has so many tools to his arsenal. LeBron had a similar problem. LeBron was just physically able to force his will upon the teams. When you got so many tools in your toolkit, sometimes you don't know which tool to pull out at times. So I think that he's falling for that as well. I feel like I'm making a lot of excuses for someone that doesn't want to be the face of the NBA, so I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. You know, it is what it is for you, homeboy. Figure it out.
Yeah, I just look at it like I think when you're trying to grasp at straws to say, is it coaching? Is it this? Is it the point guard? Look, at the end of the day, if we look at the score of last night's game, for an example, they lost 128 to 126. So offensively, the Wolves was moving the ball. They were scoring at will. They had a high-powered night. And you put your contribution was 5 for 13, 5 turnovers, 16 points. If you give me 25, if you give me 24,
maybe win by double digits.
We win. So no, it's not about making the right play. Sometimes you have to be the catalyst for victory. If you call yourself the leader of the team, if you're the star player, you got to show up in star moments. And if you watch that game, he was passive. And it really bothers me because when it's time for guys to get paid, you know what I mean? When times guys get, then they talk about, I'm the guy, I'm that guy, I'm that. But when moments like this happen, like you shrink. It's not like he had 10 assists. It's not like he had 12 assists, was distributing the basketball. I made the right play. I was selfless. I locked down on defense.
It was real Kobe
against Phoenix.
But Kobe already won 3 championships.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
At that point.
And they already said Kobe was shooting too much. I haven't heard that by Anthony Edwards yet. So
no, he was shooting a lot of threes and missing them. That's what was happening. But yeah, you know, I just don't like that attitude, and I don't like the nonchalantness. One of my pet peeves is motherfuckers who ain't done nothing being nonchalant. Like, come on, you haven't earned that yet. And not saying nobody trying to humble you or make you bend the knee. No, but there's levels to this. And again, I just don't think that we should be crowning these young guys before the time. I like young players. I love the talent of a Cade Cunningham, of Apollo, and these guys that people are already trying to put in these next conversations. But slow down. Like, let these guys mature and show it on a year in, year out basis. And then we can do that. You know what I mean? I get it. When you beat a KD, when you beat a LeBron, when you beat a Denver, that makes headlines. But if you beat them in the first round, guess what? There's still a second round. There's still a conference finals before you can go win that title. So, again, talk your stuff after you win it. That's my thing. And we're going to talk more about this, but I want to revisit something really quick because we got time tonight. We don't have a lot on the docket. And that's our which era wins discussion from a couple months ago. And something did strike me about something you all just said a moment ago. When we looked at these what is a superstar? So of this Gen Z era, right? How many of these players on this top line, Gen Z, would we consider of superstar caliber, and who's at superstar status right now?
So
is caliber potential to be a superstar?
Potential.
Okay.
Potential. Caliber is potential, and status right now is right now. Go ahead.
So we're gonna sub out LaMelo for Tyrese Halliburton, right?
All right, I think that's
Right.
fair. That's
All right, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair, right?
I think
Legit.
that's fair.
Just take out Ja. It wouldn't matter to me.
I'll start with you. Or do we want to put this off till next week? Give us some
No.
time to think about it.
No. We here.
Time to think about it.
Yeah.
Calvin, who you got as one guy who you think is status right now? Right now, superstar.
I said it
Only
before.
MVP.
Shay's
Easy.
Okay. Justin,
Potential?
status right now.
Status right now, superstar Shea, and right behind him, Luka.
Okay. All right. Who y'all got for potential? Like caliber. Who's superstar
Wemby.
caliber?
Wemby. It's very early, but what he can project to be, I'll say Wemby.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Wemby till I can't say Wemby anymore, and we still got to throw Ant-Man on there because he's conference finals back to back. That means something. You're just one step away.
I'll throw Paolo on there in a weak East next year. If he's healthy, I mean, he missed 25 games. They were a 6 seed. They could have been a
next year.
seed.
We talking about superstar projection for that career.
Okay.
Like it don't have to be next year.
I'll still throw Paolo in there. I think he could take that.
Paolo going to the finals. You got Paolo winning potentially an MVP.
I think Paolo could take that leap.
Okay,
I think that's tough.
I'm not knocking it.
I say, look, without Giannis, Paolo could be the best player in the East next year.
Okay. So to make my point, and I just wanted to make that point. Why didn't you say Jason Tatum?
I only gave one. I could have gave 3. I would have said.
Wait, Calvin. Tatum. That man gave you the open floor.
I gave you that.
Whoever you wanted.
No. I didn't know we were going to take. We could say more than one name. That's fine because you only said one name too.
I gave out 2 names off top.
Okay, I could have said 3. Tatum.
I don't know. That's real suspect, Calvin.
That's all I need to say.
Larry, that was real
suspect.
That was
my point. That was my point. He don't come up. He don't roll off the tongue. If I said which era, let's go to millennials, and I say name the superstar, you know who you naming. It ain't no question. It's no like, oh, I gotta think about it. If I say go to the baby,
I didn't say I have to think about it. There's no question with Tatum, in my opinion. Y'all are against Tatum because he doesn't have the MVP cachet or whatever. That's fine.
I'm just asking.
I don't think that's necessary.
I said who's at the caliber and whose status now. I asked you who's.
So I did not say Luka either, but I said Luka was a superstar as well earlier. I literally said one name. I said Shea.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have said it.
Okay.
And he's the champion.
Tatum's career is better than Westbrook's at this point.
Hey, that's fine. I will not dispute you on that.
Over star Westbrook.
I think more than one thing can be true. Is Carmelo Anthony a superstar? Justin.
Carmelo Anthony is a high-level all-star.
So he's a Hall of Famer. So you can be a Hall of Famer and just be solid player.
Melo's NBA career is borderline Hall of Fame. Just strictly NBA, not including international college.
I mean, he got in. He in there, baby.
He was never. I don't think he was ever a superstar though.
So
he was close.
Should there be a different wing in the Hall of Fame? The Hall of Very Good.
Oh, it definitely should be. It should be like that for all sports.
I agree.
You got one. You included one of them steroids in baseball kind of.
I really want to do this.
Oh, I don't care about steroids. Them dudes was hitting.
Okay.
No way.
I want to do a comparison because I want to look at guys whose careers is completely done. Let's go all the way to Gen X and then baby boomers. Who's the superstars of Gen X? Straight up, superstar. You naming them more than 5 guys?
No.
Okay.
I'm not naming more than 5. No.
Who your 5?
I'm not naming more than 5.
Who's superstars?
Kobe, Tim, Shaq, Dirk.
That's 3, 4.
KG borderline. That's about all I go. That's about as far as I go.
How about you, Justin?
When you say no, all right, the same
superstar.
The same ones. Jason Kidd is a superstar. Jason Kidd arguably should have won MVP. Jason Kidd went to the finals twice.
The Duncan MVP? You should have won over Duncan?
Arguably. He has credence. He took that New Jersey Nets squad that was trash. They was
weren't
trash.
They weren't trash. The East was weak.
They was trash though. They was trash.
Back to
Stephon
back.
Marbury led Nets. They was trash.
That tells you how weak the East was at the time.
Hey man, he went to the finals twice. That's why I'm giving him that. And then he
went to the finals 3 times.
Did he win a ring with Dallas?
As a leader.
Okay.
He won one of Dallas. But I was just talking about as in like being the guy. You know what I'm saying? That was Dirk's team. But yeah, I can go with that. And then see, it's an asterisk with that. Because out of this whole thing, the Jordans and all, if they're bona fide superstars, some of them are megastars. Allen Iverson is the greatest asterisk. He is a superstar.
Look, how is he not a superstar?
Everything cultural and all that, and MVP.
Cultural.
That's part of what makes you a
MVP.
That was my point.
Yes. On the court. On the court.
MVP.
On the court.
He's an MVP. He's an MVP.
He's an MVP. Yeah. He's an MVP.
And went to the finals. It's no asterisk. Allen Iverson is a superstar.
Kobe fan.
Allen Iverson is a superstar.
Don't watch the game like regular.
No asterisk. I apologize for even saying asterisk, Allen.
He didn't know asterisk. That's a damn sure bona fide superstar.
He's a bona fide superstar.
What are we talking about here? Again, it's not about the team. It's the player. If I take Allen Iverson and put him on the Lakers with Shaq and all those pieces they had,
you can say that about a lot of
couldn't get one ring.
You can say
that's the point.
But we are saying that Allen Iverson was good enough as a superstar, unlike Russell Westbrook,
to take
his team to the finals.
You don't know Russ.
Took his team to the finals. That's what I'm saying.
I'll say this. I associate superstar with Allen Iverson before Russell Westbrook. I'll say it like that.
I mean, that ain't saying much. We're comparing 2 different eras, 2 different types of. The teams was completely different in that Gen X era than they were in the millennials. It was more of a super team type of game when Golden State was linking up, Boston's was linking up. That's a whole different era. We're talking about. All right, let's go back to the baby booms. I think there's 3 guys that are superstars on this whole list. Go ahead.
You said 3?
3.
I got more than.
I got 3. Mike, Magic, Bird. That's it. The rest of them.
Hakeem, goddamn superstar. Hakeem
Olajuwon
is a goddamn superstar.
Stars, great all-stars.
That's disrespectful.
Hakeem was never the face of the league. Was never.
That's different. Nobody said the face of the league. That's only one person. That's one person.
Superstar status.
One person can be face of the league.
Hakeem ain't win nothing until Jordan retired.
He still got 2 of them things. What are you saying? You trolling.
Wait. Who was the face of the league in 94-95 then?
Scottie Pippen.
Shaq.
So we all got different answers. Okay.
Who's your answer?
I'm gonna say Hakeem.
He wasn't no face of no league.
MVP.
He had no commercials. No
winning. Why does commercials matter when we talking about superstar? I'm talking about what you do on the court.
I mean,
what you do on the court in between the lines.
It matters.
It matters in your exposure because you'll get more commercials, but that doesn't matter what you do in between the lines on the court.
Nobody was even watching the NBA during that time. If you go back and look at the numbers, when Jordan left, a lot of people left.
A lot of people was watching when OJ was in that.
Wasn't that a lockout year?
The finals.
What like a shortened season? The referees had striked or something. Like nobody cared. Like stop it. Joking. But no, seriously, I think if you really want to call what a superstar really is, I think Jordan, Magic, and Bird established what we thought of as what a superstar is in this league.
Will be called megastars.
I agree. That's a superstar.
You still had superstars with that. Charles Barkley, finals run.
All-star.
Superstar.
That was 1 year.
But he was making playoff appearances and things like that. He was that
All-star.
dude. He was arguably the second best player of the league for a stretch.
For a year.
For a stretch.
All-star.
Coming out of Philly.
For a year. Because that next year was Shaq. That next year was Shaq. Let's not even go there.
Bro, the level of stardom was so different back then. That's why I say, like, it was so easier to stand out we knew who the superstars were. It got more dicey that Gen X era because everybody had.
We're gonna put some respect on Isaiah Thomas. Like that, I don't know what y'all.
I give
He's a
Zeke was
superstar.
He's a superstar. I'm just saying, bona
Hey,
fide.
you one of y'all name him, but to begin with,
I
No,
named him.
I was being facetious.
no,
He
you
was
said
trolling.
4. You said
I
4.
named him.
You said, oh wait, so your 4 didn't include a game?
I never said 4. I never put a number.
I said 3.
Okay, I thought you said 4. Okay.
I established that if we talking about like when the superstar talk even started, that was those 3 guys. You know what I mean? Back during Magic and Bird era, Isaiah squeaked his way in there during the 80s. But Magic and Bird was like the people who saved the league.
They was
You know
megas.
what I mean?
Basically,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, and then Jordan era got his own era. You never heard the Zeke era. You heard the Bad Boys era. Like, it was a collection, a team.
He
You
led
know what
it.
I mean? I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not disrespecting Zeke. I got love for Zeke. I'm just telling you, when people think of that, the eras of basketball, they ain't talking about no Isaiah era. They say it's the Bad Boys versus Jordan, the Bad Boys versus
overrated.
the Celtics. Like, that's just what it is.
How you
Like,
overrated when he got 2
Kobe
chips,
and Shaq,
Finals MVP,
it wasn't Kobe or
multiple
Shaq.
All-Stars.
Hey,
It was
you taking
Kobe and Shaq.
MJ on the dream team, or you taking Isaiah?
We talk about MJ. Like, what are you saying, yo?
It's an answer to the question. Okay.
No, you take MJ
You just told me-
over
you just told me
everybody
your
and
answer.
everybody else. What are you
just told
saying?
me
Yo?
your
That's
answer.
not. We're not doing that.
And
You just told me
KG
your
ain't
answer.
no Allen Iverson. Let's get that straight.
You said
Let's get that
KG.
straight. KG ain't no Allen Iverson. Let's get that straight. There's 2 different levels to that. I don't care how much respect y'all got for KG. He was never the star of an Allen Iverson. Ever. Never.
You
Never,
never the star
ever.
of Allen Iverson. Okay, that's fair.
Never. So,
Okay.
like I say, if you're gonna put anybody as that other superstar of that Gen X era, it's going to be Iverson.
I'm basing my stuff out on the court, and I.
Dirk ain't no superstar. He's a great player.
My argument has always been with AI.
Yo, he took out Miami Heat.
Yeah,
that was more with the Heat didn't.
I don't get.
Wait, he took out Kobe.
None of that.
He took out KD, and then he took out LeBron. Yeah,
I give him credit. I'm not saying he get up there. But
is that the great? That may be the greatest finals run.
Is D Wade a superstar? He beat Dirk.
He was at one point, and his peak he was.
Oh yeah, you know was you a superstar? You a superstar?
Oh yes, he was a superstar. Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm asking.
He wasn't a superstar for like 4 or 5 years, but when he got to that top, it was
Is Kawhi a superstar?
No.
What do you mean?
He's a superstar. He's a superstar in the playoffs. If it's the playoffs, yeah. We count if it's only the playoffs.
So we've been subjective now, huh?
This whole thing is subjective. What you mean?
Right.
This whole thing is subjective.
So we all got opinions, right? So Kawhi not a superstar.
So Kawhi's a superstar?
I'm asking you. Look at the ring.
I said no. What do you say?
Of course, I say no. Fuck that sucker. He left my team high and dry.
Asterisk. He gets the asterisk.
So off the court matters, on the court, and the way he left San Antonio.
And
then immediately won in the next year.
Sucker. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, that was interesting conversation been going on here. But anyway, looks like that Thunder Timberwolves series is wrapping up, and we'll see what the Knicks and Pacers able to do on Thursday night. See if New York can push it to a game 6.
I guarantee we win this next game.
Okay. Hey man, FanDuel's alive for a reason.
You
know it's game. And they took his Black Scully off and everything.
Hey, look. If y'all win game 5, y'all gonna win game 6?
Goddamn right.
So NBA named their first team this week. All NBA teams 1, 2, and 3.
Anybody got a problem with these?
You got the Giannis, SGA, Donovan Mitchell, and Jason Tatum as your top 5. Any discrepancies with this 5? Y'all have at it, because I have no problem with one of these. Because 3 of these guys are my favorite players in the league, so I have no problem with 4 to 5. Jason Tatum, I could take a leave, but no problem with 4 or 5. Just
sometimes you gotta give it to the person that has the best record and the best player on that team. So they gave it to Donovan. They
average more points.
It was just a default selection at this point.
Let his team to greater success.
Somebody on that team had to make it.
What about you, Calvin?
I'll say, look, if Brunson didn't twist his ankle,
but he did.
I might have had Brunson there, but I ain't got no problem with these 5 though.
I'd have had Brunson over Tatum, yeah, but not over Donovan. Anyway, but I like this
over
slide.
Donovan.
Did I just go to the wrong slide? All right. Yeah. All right. Second team, Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James makes the second team in year 40. And Evan Mobley. Anybody have any issues with this one? I don't know. That's tough.
No, I don't.
Given injuries and all that stuff, so some players wasn't eligible for said postseason award. I don't mind LeBron. The Lakers, well, they made it to number 3 seed, so yeah.
Had Anthony Davis not gotten injured, I wanted to see him here. I thought he was having a great season before the trade.
I didn't think he had enough games.
That's what I'm saying.
Before he got traded, I don't think he could have played every game and had enough games.
I think injuries.
I think that last injury knocked it out of it. He was close.
I didn't think he was that close.
Defensively, he was sensational. And I thought offensively, he kept that team as a contender. And I didn't think LeBron was good. Don't get me wrong, but I thought Anthony Davis was better.
That plus minus stat is a killer, though. So,
for who?
For LeBron. Like, he was the only player on the second team that was like minus.
So you saying his reputation?
I'm saying
he was a 3 seed, and he was the catalyst of that team.
Yeah, and you couldn't vote for Luka. So
exactly, that's why I said the first thing I said.
Yeah. And then the third team, you got Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Halliburton, James Harden, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Williams. Any issues with any of these people being on the third team, and any snubs that you thought should have made one of these 3 teams? Justin?
Nah, man, these are great performers, man. If anything, I'm thinking maybe JB sliding there somewhere, but
he didn't have enough games, though, right?
Jalen
Brown?
Oh,
he was healthy.
I thought you were talking about Brunson.
Yeah, Brunson made the second team.
He was second team.
Okay.
So that's what I said. Jalen Brown somewhere, but I couldn't tell you who I would take out. Jalen Williams definitely deserved that spot. So shout out to him. That's definitely it's no longer all just Shea. It's him and Jalen, and Chet is just innocent bystander at this point. So yeah, I'm okay with it.
Calvin?
Yeah, Jalen Williams was a surprise, but I can't think of anyone that should be on there. I think you at least got to make the playoffs, so the Phoenix Suns shouldn't have anyone on there, Booker or KD. So yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Go back to that playoff picture real quick, Larry.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm just checking them. That's the top 4 teams. Everybody, maybe somebody from Houston. That will be my only other caveat.
So Sengun was, but Mobley won DPOY, like that put over the top. Like, all right, you won Defensive Player of the Year on a team with the best record in the East. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but that's that. I say JB / Sengun should have been like.
So who you taking off?
Halliburton. Fuck that nigga.
That's why he frying y'all now.
Hey man, things happen. All right, let's talk a little NFL. Brock Purdy signed a new contract. 49ers extended him. Went on a lot longer than a lot of people thought it would, but they were able to get the job done. $265 million. Calvin, did you think he was worth it?
Hell no. Price of quarterback just went up. Lamar's next contract just went up. I know Josh Allen probably mad he signed his deal before this. I know this is just the going rate for the next quarterback, but with the weapons that he lost, losing Debo and losing the other, I forgot the other receiver's name to an ACL injury. Ayuk, yeah. I just don't see where he stepped up last year and said, I can win games as the quarterback of this team, regardless of who's out there. Now you had to pay him, I guess, if you're San Francisco because you don't have a quarterback, but I don't think he's worth all that money. In my opinion.
What is that per year? What he signed for?
265.
Is it 55 or something like that?
Yeah, it's in the high 50s.
Yeah.
53.
Yeah. So per capita right now, highest paid quarterbacks. Contracts have aged. Josh, of course, he just signed this year for 330. Dak signed, what's that? 240. Lamar, 260 for 5 years, though. So they locked him up for a little longer. You got Jalen Hurts, who signed his deal for a 4-year deal, 5-year deal.
5 years.
5 years. And Kyler Murray. So all those contracts are around the same, hovering around the same time frame.
$10 million more.
Yeah. So Patrick Mahomes
is Josh Allen's 6 years. That's just an extension, though, right? It's not 6 new years.
He has 6-year extension.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 years add on to whatever it was on.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just looking at hey, it's bias. Like I was looking at overpaid, discount.
Yeah.
Like, hey yo, come on, man. That's ridiculous.
By that one writer or whatever like that. But that's true though.
I don't disagree with him on any of them.
Lamar spread the money out over 5 years. That's more of a team-friendly deal if you look at it, because he wanted them to have a little flexibility. If you took a shorter years deal, but look at Josh Allen, he spread his 330 out over 6 years. So one might tell you, Mahomes, he signed that big 10-year deal, if you recall, but he's already restructured that deal. So he's at 450. He got a lot of that signing bonus and backloaded a lot of it. So, and then they redid it so he can get a big chunk of it through the signing bonus. So it tricks a way around these deals, so you'll never really milk them completely. Because if you let these contracts play out, the teams they'll take up so much of that salary cap that it'll never work. So again, we see these big numbers, but most of these quarterbacks will never.
But like you said,
play those all the way out.
We're gonna go back to Brock. It's just he took his team to
2 Super Bowls.
To the Super Bowl. So his agent is saying that. Is it 2? I thought didn't Jimmy?
No, one on was Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, it was Jimmy.
Yeah.
So his agent is saying, "I took you out to the Super Bowl." I would have pushed back, man. Like he saved them from the Trey Lance situation. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's correct.
But Baker making $33 million a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is he better than Baker? No, I personally don't think so. I'm not trying to be biased.
But Baker was going to prove it there, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Baker
Like,
had the better offense. I think he just doesn't have the better defensive coach. But the better offense.
I'm just saying. I feel like that's a plug and play. I feel like anybody could have been plugged into that 49ers offense.
I agree with that.
And let that thing roll out the way it did. That's a Kyle Shanahan. I'm surprised he bid on that. So now you handicap. So now you're losing players.
Nobody, though. This gonna be their next year gonna be that salary cap year.
Who? 49ers?
Yeah.
No, they gutted everybody this year.
I mean, they re-signed.
They lost all them defensive players. They don't have nobody barely. They lost everybody, and they got rid of Debo. They got rid of what do you mean? This was that salary cap year. They got it to pay this guy. You know what I mean? They lost a lot. They're
gonna be out of luck as soon as Trent either retires. He close.
Didn't they just re-sign him? Give him more money too?
Yeah, they gave him a big contract too.
Yeah, he about to die.
Yeah, but Ayuk, they gave him all that money last year. Then he go out and get hurt, so no return on investment there. The tight end got hurt, and I think they paid him too.
I didn't think Kittle got hurt. Well, they did pay him.
He did get hurt last year.
Yeah,
they paid him like he got another 10 years in him.
Yeah, so
and then and McCaffrey taking some of that salary cap, and you don't know what he's going to be.
But they lost a lot of defensive players, so we'll see what this team is actually turned out to be. Another news thing that came out was Terry Bradshaw had some comments about Pittsburgh Steelers and wanting them not to bring in Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he went in, man. He was rough. Like, man, go somewhere and count some sheep or whatever he said. He took some shots. He does not want Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. And also, there's been reports that Kirk Cousins hasn't showed up at OTAs in Atlanta, which is bringing on speculation.
Voluntary though, right?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Will he be in the running for a trade to go to Pittsburgh? Are they eyeing him to take over the quarterback spot? Because right now, that Mason Rudolph is the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into the 2025 season, and a lot of fans are not happy about it. Calvin, do they get this deal done? Are they bringing in Aaron Rodgers?
I think they do. They still think that they are a quarterback away, and I think that's the mindset in Pittsburgh right now. Instead of just, hey, if we have this one bad year, we can get, and next year has the potential to be the best quarterback draft in 10 years as a whole. So instead of just taking the lumps next year and potentially get your franchise quarterback, they want to try to win it all again next year, and they're the only ones that think they're close. And I think they don't do the Kirk Cousins trade because he has 3 years left on the contract. He signed last year. They don't want to tie that cap space up with a quarterback position up. So
right. So I think I heard that they're trying to get rid of him. They just want somebody to pay a significant portion of that. So if somebody's willing to pay maybe 2/3 of the contract, then they can get Kirk.
He's worth every dollar.
He's not. He's
worth every dollar in the right system, because again, they had him in the shotgun too much last year. He's an under center play action quarterback. We've seen it throughout his entire career. And Atlanta went down there. He had some success down there. He gutted Tampa Bay a couple times. Again, he had some success.
He had great success to
his
not
injuries,
make playoffs.
His injuries caught up with him, and things happened. Look, the man was coming off a major injury. He started slow. He got into a rhythm, and things fell apart. But again, he can still play football, and he will land on his feet. Kurt, I got your back, baby. Always and forever. Here we go. Next up, Baltimore Orioles.
You're the only one.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. What's happening with the O's, guys? They fired your manager. Still see no improvement. Now, I didn't think it would be overnight.
We just lost. We just won 3 in a row. We just lost, but we just won 3 in a row right before that.
They lost tonight.
Talking about last night. They was winning. I'll check that right now. Go ahead, Calvin.
Look.
Yeah, we lost tonight.
Okay, it's so many things going on with this team. How did y'all hear the rumors about Buck Showalter coming back?
No.
Bring my man Buck back, baby.
What I heard was Ryan Flannery, that used to play for us under Buck Showalter.
Wow,
is one of the top coaches.
He's because he was the coach down in AAA or something, so he came with the young guys. I heard that. Buck is coming
back. You might have. I haven't heard that.
I heard there was a rumor that they wanted.
Elias ain't giving up leadership. Elias not letting him do that.
But the problem is Buck wants power, and Elias doesn't want to give up.
Elias not letting him do that.
So there would have to be some kind of compromise there.
Buck, the best thing that ever happened to this team since the 90s. Go ahead.
I don't know. I want to see these young guys up here at this point. Like, if you're going to tell me it's a lost season, I mean, it's not even June yet, but there's no reason Kobe Mayo shouldn't be up here. There's no reason Basayo shouldn't be up here. So we can at least see what these guys offer or see what we can trade these guys for, one or the other. But there's no reason these guys should be up here
because even some of our young guys are looking bad.
But Holiday's looking good, though.
Holiday's looking good.
Yeah.
Heston, trash. Garbage.
And this is the guy you give up for Santana. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we
hopefully Cowser and Westberg get back shortly.
Yeah, Cowser was trash before he got hurt though, but we're not gonna say that.
I'm trying to be nice.
What he was playing a week?
That week was trash.
Yeah.
It's trash. Nothing straight dumpster juice.
Nothing great. Nothing.
That Jorge Mateo just playing.
I don't look, he shouldn't be on this team. I completely agree with that. But until you get somebody back, I mean, maybe it's your best. But if he's on the team, why the hell isn't Mayo up here? Like, I'd rather see Mayo.
There you go.
I'd rather see Mayo struggle than see Mateo back 098.
Maybe they're trying to trade him, so they're trying to make him look decent before they let him, leave.
He's gonna get cut when somebody else come up. Like,
yeah,
I'm tired of that.
Yeah. Next, this past weekend was Saturday night main event. over the on NBC.
Stop. Commercial break. Continue.
That's how the whole show was. Very choppy. If you're used to these PLEs on Peacock, you're used to more of a flow. But this show was just like, it felt like a commercial. I think that's what it was. Like traditionally, Saturday Main Event was a commercial for some type of big pay-per-view that WWE had coming up. It was always positioned right before WrestleMania in the early part of the year, or Royal Rumble. It was always positioned right before SummerSlam. So you like did tag team matches or a match to try to feature the big angles heading into to try to convince people to order the pay-per-view. Well, this one was kind of positioned in a very, very precarious time. And I think strategically it backfired on them. And I'm going to tell you why. Like I said, the formula was always put it on the weekend where you're promoting a big event that's coming up. But now fans have been conditioned to expect big matches on Raw, big matches on SmackDown, big matches on your PLEs. So the shine or the importance of a Saturday Main Event does not have that same level of cachet because we see these big shows all the time. Back then, you only had 4 pay-per-views a year. You had Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. So seeing the stars on regular network TV was something you didn't get to see all the time other than squash matches on WWF Superstars or Pro Wrestling Challenge or something like that. But those days are long gone. So when you put a show like this together and you have no big event that you're promoting, it becomes like a waste in many ways. And then it just so happened that you put it on the same weekend that AEW was running their big pay-per-view and was a way to try to undercut that viewership. And I think it backfired. I thought the show was choppy. I thought the show was uninspired other than the 2 angles. One angle we'll talk about, and that was the tag team match that kind of opened the show with Sami Zayn and CM Punk versus Seth Rollins and my man Braun Breaker. I thought the action was good, but the match was too short for being anything. But the big surprise was the return of Bronson Reed, which I did bring up. I said this was a possibility.
On my other show, We Talk Combats, which is right there. I called you out. Okay. I called you. I said you nailed that one, Paul. I said I ain't like to see it coming, but you called that.
And I said I think he would fill out this group well because you need an enforcer type of guy aside from Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed could take a pin. That's the important part. He's menacing enough where you take him serious, but if you beat him, it means something. And you don't want to beat Braun Breaker. You want to keep him special. You don't want to beat Seth Rollins. But Bronson Reed, you can beat him. But if you do beat him, it matters because he's still a big motherfucker. So I thought that was done well. Overall, the return of Cody, those were highlights of the night pretty much. Other than that, I wasn't
pretty blah. Yeah,
I wasn't impressed. Justin, what was your thoughts on the evening?
First and foremost, Jesse.
Oh my God!
I couldn't understand the Native American jacket, the Malcolm X hat to the Jimi Hendrix shirt, and you know he had the shakies too. He got some of the shakies. So it's just they need to let him go right off in the sunset. But like you said, the opening match was great. The fact that Bronson came out, so shout out to that. I thought the Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre match was great. I thought those 2 dudes just they was giving great performances. Clearly, this is Drew's last performance for a little bit. They're gonna put him on the shelf for a little bit so he can get overall 100% healthy. Ron Cena was hilarious.
It was exactly what I said it was going to be.
I thought it was going to win, man. I really did. I thought because of Cody, he was going to win. That could have been his ushering into the Money in the Bank. It was just something fun.
Going to do it.
Yeah.
No, they didn't do that, so I'm okay with that. Really, I think Saturday Night Main Event suffered 2 things. One, the advertisements. I think they. If you remove all the advertisements from the ring, because it's just you see it on there. It was just Saturday Night Main Event. There's no fluttering of advertisements. So what did they have to do? They had to make up for it with commercials. That's why we got commercials every 4 minutes. And two, I love women. Women been giving up the great. They've been performing very well. I did not need Chelsea Green versus Selena Vega in this card.
It was a waste.
It was a complete waste. It was rushed. The girl Chelsea got smashed in her nose and started bleeding and stuff because Selena botched it. It was a terrible spot. Like, if you would have just got rid of that match, that first match, you can extend that. The Jey Uso Logan Paul match, you could have extended that a little bit more. It could have been so much more time.
I agree.
This Saturday Night Main Event, I've been fine with 4 cards, 4 matches, been done. So, like you said, I think they rushed the ending. It was Jey Uso, Logan Paul doing that thing, and the next thing you know, Cody come out. I challenge you next week or at the next event.
Yeah,
God damn! Like, wait a second, how we
rushed.
jump?
Yeah,
it was bad, guys. It was bad.
That's what I said. I agree. Calvin, your thoughts?
I didn't have as low expectations as it appears that you have. It was what it was. Could have been better, yes. Could have been more flow to it, less choppiness with all the commercial breaks, yes. But then you put it on Netflix or pay-per-view because you don't have the advertisement in the ring, as you discussed. I thoroughly enjoyed the Bronson Reed addition. Didn't see it coming, but it in a way where it was only Seth who knew initially, and you can kind of see the look on Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman's face until they realized what was going on. That was pure cinema. That was probably the best moment of the show. That shows how the rest of the show went. I definitely agree with the Cody angle. It was kind of like it was just kind of came out of nowhere. Like if he was just kind of there to save Jay, okay, but then to just challenge him to a tag team match out of nowhere, it's kind of like
because they got too many shows coming up.
So
you got the Saudi show.
They got a shitload of shows.
You got the Clash of the Champ. You got the Money in the Bank. I'm like, hey.
And the triple
and another Saturday Main Event, and another
in July, right?
Evolution show, SummerSlam.
Yeah,
it's just a lot. AAA, man, it's a lot, and they overdoing it. They're oversaturating the market. Let's put it that way. I get that, but it's also you trying to undercut AEW by running the competition.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's what
you don't need to.
They don't need to, but they feel like they need to. They feel like they need to.
Is that a AAA thing? Was that TKO thing?
No, that's a TKO. That's a TKO thing. They want to eliminate competition. I mean, this is what it is. We've seen it before with UFC.
We want to give a special shout out to Trick. Shout out to Trick.
TNA champion.
Yeah.
Beat my guy Joe Hendry. I just hope he don't get stuck. I feel like Trigger. I feel like he about to get stuck.
I don't think so. I think they
get that call.
Trick can lose the title over there, and it'll be like a big win for TNA to get a TNA guy to get a win over a WWE guy. But I think Trick getting called up pretty soon. So I think they're going to do a draft. I heard September after SummerSlam. So we'll see about that. Again, this is a big year for WWE as far as contract because the Peacock deal is up. So they trying to see if Peacock gonna give them more money, or will they move everything to Netflix as far as pay-per-views and all that. Me personally,
so it's just the vault and pay-per-views on Peacock though, right?
Yeah, it's all the pay-per-views and all the library. But even the whole library is not on there. Their YouTube page, they built up their YouTube page. They hold a lot of stuff now. Like they running that AAA show on the YouTube channel. So it's basically like the old WWE network. My opinion, I think it is better on Peacock. I would not put it on Netflix. Problem is, if you've been following, I follow the ratings. Netflix viewership has slipped because when you watch Netflix, and I watch Netflix for different things, but it lulls you into a sense of relaxivity. You know what I mean? Like you don't think about it. It's not the first relaxation or whatever, man. Like for instance, if you put the whole wrestling library on there, it's not appointment TV for WWE. Everything is on Netflix. It's going to be another thing they have. But on Peacock, because it's one of their main things, they actually promote WWE. They actually put them on the
It's
forefront.
their own page.
They actually put them as a featured thing. That's the problem AEW is running to with Max or whatever, HBO. They're not the number one.
I just saw an advertisement that it's been on Max, and I've been watching The Last of Us, and I have not noticed AEW on that joint. I said, it's on Max. I've been paying. I didn't even notice.
Max do not promote it. If you go look, if the show, like showings on, like I watch Dynamite every Wednesday. I watch it every Wednesday, but I record it on Hulu so I can watch it, because if I go to Max right now and try to watch tonight's show, it is so difficult, unless you're watching it live, and it's in your saved favorites or something like that, to go find the show once it's over, because show over at 10 o'clock. It's so hard to find it. They might not put it up for another 2 hours. I mean, it's a terrible deal. But Peacock, you click on Peacock.
Now, Peacock stopped showing SmackDown. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
They don't have the deal with SmackDown. They don't have next day rights. It used to be Hulu had the next day rights. Hulu lost them rights. So those rights are up as well, where the day after it airs or the night after it airs, it'll be on there. So that's part of this new package that's coming out.
So
if they win that,
it's just in the air right now.
Yeah, it's purgatory. It's purgatory right now. The same thing happened with when the CW picked up NXT. You can't find NXT nowhere other than the CW app unless you record it on your cable service or Hulu. They don't have a streaming. So, but all that's coming out this year, and they're gonna get paid a lot of money for it, which is why they've been building up NXT and building up these other properties and making these PLEs more important, is to prove to whoever's bidding for it, look how many hours people are watching our properties. So I think Peacock going to pay out the ass for it. The worst thing for me would be for Netflix to own Raw and all the PLEs, because I think WWE could lose some popularity, to be honest with you. As big as Netflix is, again, WWE is a small drop in the bucket compared to all the other properties they have. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But it's good to keep it, to kind of diversify, keep it separate. Because now you have separate streaming platforms that will have, because eventually the pay-per-views, or eventually you'll see some reference pay-per-views that are on Peacock onto Netflix, so to make you have to go back and forth. So it gives you an opportunity to have both, which adds to your streaming, which adds to your money.
Which you can also make the argument. Some people will get Peacock just for wrestling.
Yes, 100%.
No one's getting Netflix just for wrestling.
No, you're gonna watch other things, but that's what the other thing,
and then happen to go to wrestling.
But that's the thing. It's like, are you adding new subscribers to Netflix because wrestling is there? Most and generally, you got Netflix already. You know what I mean? Like,
that was probably the first one that maybe you came back to it, but you
probably got Peacock specifically because you're a wrestling fan. So I would think, like, if you're Amazon Prime, that's why they added the NFL, because they wanted to attract the NFL crowd to Amazon Prime. The same thing I think is going to happen with this whole Paramount Plus. If you all ever had Paramount Plus, that's a lot of things going on with that, where they about to get into these bidding wars. They lost out. They were thinking about bidding on the whole NFL package, because CBS that's just basically an arm of it. But they wanted more prime time. They want to get into prime time. That's CBS.
That's CBS? Okay.
Mm-hmm. But they MTV, all those kind of channels.
Because actually they
VH1.
Didn't they just buy BT, or they just added BT?
They've been had it.
Well, added BT Plus. I mean,
all that's on Paramount Plus. Yeah. That's one of my favorite streaming apps, Paramount Plus.
Because they have A&E.
No, A&E is on Discovery Plus. That's with Max too. Max got all of that. That's WB, Warner Bros. WBD. But I'm very interested.
Tulsa King on Paramount Plus. My bad.
Tulsa King. All them shows from Tyler Sheridan. All those good shows like Yellowstone and all that. But anyway, I just think it's very interesting to see and I think it is a good thing. Always have a good streaming partner. Always have a good TV partner on cable. Always have a good regular network partner. That's why I like when SmackDown was on Fox, because you have your network partner, you had a good cable partner in USA, and a good streaming partner in Peacock. And now
go ahead, I'll let you go ahead.
But now they got the Netflix, USA for SmackDown, and then you got your Peacock for streaming. Let's see what because ESPN is trying to get into this deal as well. They want WWE. So we'll see. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Justin.
I would say you wrestling has got to be on some type of streaming service because there's so many people that can't make time for that,
Yeah.
but they'll rewatch it in a heartbeat,
On demand. Yeah.
especially with no commercials, or
Yeah.
you can skip through the commercials. So
Yeah.
they got to do
Yeah.
something. So we'll see.
And you'd be surprised how many young fans have found wrestling because of streaming. I got some little cousin stuff who I never knew they was even going to watch wrestling, but they be streaming it. You know what I mean? Like on YouTube or Netflix or whatever. They going back in the archives on Peacock. I mean, could you imagine when we was kids if we had a streaming platform where we could just pull up matches easily?
Yeah.
We had to go to the video store. Like, come on.
tape, or if you're lucky, somebody taped it. How do y'all feel about SmackDown being 3 hours now?
Well, they about to go back to
Trash.
2. They're going back to 2.
Are they?
Yeah, next month.
Okay.
So basically,
So
the deal
8 to 10?
was, 8 to 10. The deal was they were supposed to be, because remember, they just got on USA back in the fall. They had signed an extension, and part of the deal was, remember, Raw deal ran out, and for 3 months, Raw was on USA before they went to Peacock, because the deal was up in October, but they had no home for Raw from October until January when Raw went to Netflix. So the deal was, in order to keep Raw on USA, they wanted an additional hour of SmackDown for the USA deal. And they was like, they wanted it for free because that added to their overall viewership for USA. So they did it until the deal was supposed to be until June. So I heard it's going to be coming up here soon. SmackDown, that deal runs out and SmackDown goes back to 2 hours because they're not paying for it. It's a free hour of TV. USA
3 hour advertisement.
Because USA lose so much money by not having Raw on Monday nights. You know, that was a staple. And that's where they got a lot of their advertising money. So, yeah, but everybody's complaining about SmackDown being 3 hours. Who the hell sitting at home on a Friday night and want to watch wrestling for 3 hours? You might record it and get to it, but I ain't going to lie to you. Some weeks I skim because
you'll watch the first half hour.
I'm so busy on Saturdays. By the time I get to it, it's a pay-per-view the next day. It's old news. You know what I mean? So I don't get a chance to watch all of it. But anyway, they got a show coming up, Money in the Bank. You got the big tag team match, Logan Paul, John Cena versus Cody. Exactly. It's like a show every week.
Triple A is before that.
Yes.
Same day.
Yes.
3 o'clock.
Yes. Yeah. Crazy, man. So that's the main event. And then you got, so far, you got 4 women qualified for the women's Money in the Bank. You got Julia, you got Roxanne, you got what's her name? Rhea Ripley, and then you got Alexa Bliss. I think Alexa has not been featured here recently until now. We know she was out pregnant, had a baby, came back at the Royal Rumble. Apparently, she wasn't 100% ready, so they wanted to give her more time to get back her sea legs underneath her. But now she's back. I can see Rhea winning this, but I don't think she needs it.
There's still one more qualified match.
It's 2 more.
It's 2 more. It's Charlotte.
No, Charlotte already had hers.
She lost, right?
Nia Jax, Naomi, and Jade in a qualifying match.
Oh, okay.
That should be on SmackDown, and I don't know the other match. It's probably on Raw.
Interesting.
We just had it. They just would have it. So yeah, it's 2 more matches. It's 2 more.
It could be one. It could be one on Raw because the week from Money in the Bank is week from Saturday, so they still got.
They got time.
Okay.
Oh, let's just say Liv. Liv probably in with that spot.
I thought Liv lost.
Oh, she lost. Yeah.
Was that a qualifying match? It was just 1-on-1.
That was a 1-on-1 match.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It was the Kairi Singh. And then the 4 men who are qualified, Seth qualified on Monday, Solo, is in there, and Penta qualified as well. Man, that Pentagon, Chad Gable, and what's his name? Dragon Lee match the other night. Good God, I reckon
that was the best match, even with the botch.
Oh my God! It
made it
better. It made it better. Like, cause Chad got up, busted his nose. That spot over the table. It was killing each other. Sometimes you be like, ain't nothing happening tonight, and then boom, you know what I mean? So yeah, that was cool. That was my favorite match of the week so far. Other than that AEW pay-per-view. If y'all not AEW watchers, please tune in sometime. God damn, that pay-per-view Sunday was tremendous. Anyway, but yeah, so that's where we at thus far. That's all we got tonight. Any final thoughts before we get out of here? We getting up on that 11 o'clock hour. Calvin, your thoughts?
Knicks in how many?
7, baby.
7. That's all. That's the only
That's all,
choice they
that's all it
got.
can be. Okay. So next Wednesday, I guess we'll be talking about Indiana and OKC.
Yeah, that is like.
Let me ask you a question. Are you excited for that matchup? I'm not say that. Yeah, are you excited for that matchup?
No.
Well, I'll say this because the blowouts for OKC that didn't do good. That didn't do them justice. However, everyone was watching Indiana during this series, so
Okay.
Indiana's going to get a little bit bumped from the New York crowd, not necessarily the New York fans, but people are watching this series. Larry, you can tell more than anybody else. The ratings are up for this, so they're going to bring some eyes because people are starting to identify.
And most of the games have come down to the wire, so that
correct.
That helps.
It's been an entertaining series. So, I would like to see these two teams. As a basketball fan, OKC seems to have a nice perimeter defense for them, so they shouldn't necessarily be as freely as they are. OKC goes a little bit deeper in that bench, like Caruso, Wiggins, and some of those other cats. So it'll be interesting. But I can't go for Indiana to win that, so it's going to be shaky in this title.
What you think, Calvin?
I like Shea. I like OKC. I think Indiana just ran through a flawed East, but I think when they play a complete team, OKC. I hope it goes 6. I hope it's interesting. It's 2 small markets, but I think Indiana. I don't see them being a challenge like Boston or even the Knicks would be. Maybe that's just me downplaying Indiana, but
I'm telling you something to keep an eye on, man. Because I ain't gonna lie. JB been good. Don't get me wrong, but they was locking him up. Like your boy, was it Naismith or
Neesmith?
Yeah. Stay in front of him. Like I would like to see what he do with SGA.
SGA gonna get a ton of calls. He gonna get a ton of fouls.
He played physical.
They can't bring that physicality to OKC.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Physical defense. Boy.
I'll say that.
I mean, Neesmith be all up in his ass. I'm like, damn. Every move he make, he be right. Pause that. But every move he make, he be right there on him. I'm like, I would love to see because he long. Pause that. But he's 6'6". He got good range. I think that man, I would like to see how they match up defensively.
Everything was going so smooth.
Y'all think the rating's gonna be bad though?
Yeah, I mean, not terrible to the point where if you're a basketball fan, you gonna watch basketball. You know what I mean? But you're not gonna get the casuals. No.
What was the worst rated finals of the last 5 years? Was it Denver, Miami a couple years ago?
The bubble. No, the bubble wasn't because the Lakers was in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think the bubble was. I thought it was Denver, Miami.
No, Milwaukee and Phoenix was bad.
Really?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah, and it wasn't close. Yeah.
Denver, I mean, every now and then, this is
Miami's still a nice market. Go ahead.
It is. Every now and then, this is probably the NBA saying, "Hey, you small market teams, you have a shot." Right? We have Indiana, we have OKC in the finals. Whoever wins, so they can hush that topic for the next 10 years if they want to, because of that. So sometimes you take a hit, so you don't got to worry about.
Last time this happened was it San Antonio, Jersey, 20 years ago?
Because LeBron was in the finals of what, 9 years in a row?
Yeah. I mean,
Cleveland technically in
Cleveland is a small market, I guess. But
that's why I say if you got that guy,
they play Golden State though.
Not every year. I'm just saying, if you got that guy, I don't care what city you play in, you got that guy. That's why I say that's where the superstar is. But yeah, Let's say Cleveland was a small market.
Cleveland,
team.
San Antonio, probably.
Okay. What was that? 2012,
It was
2011?
No, that was
13?
2007.
Oh yeah, he was in Miami at that point. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Phoenix is Phoenix a small market?
Yeah, it ain't no big market.
So Phoenix, Milwaukee.
I think that was the lowest rated finals in a long time.
But is that two small markets? Is what I'm saying. It's Phoenix.
I
Small
mean,
market
Phoenix, I think is a mid-major.
I think it's mid. That's what I said.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go with the small.
Not small. No,
Okay.
it's not small. But far as TV wise, it's a small market. It's not a New York or LA.
The West Coast are hard because it's nice weather. So there's stuff to do outside versus especially.
But the
this
time
time, yeah.
frames of when the games start always going to mean. But it's East versus West. It don't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be Oklahoma City in the middle of the country, so it's
that's the difference.
Yeah,
that's the difference because it's like you get that 7 o'clock start instead of 8 o'clock start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
instead of like a 6, 5 o'clock start like it would be when it's on. Yeah, so
yeah.
I
just think I think what hurts SGA as a superstar is he don't talk that much. You know what I mean? Like he don't project any type of nothing for people to get behind. And he married a white woman. So it's like, you know, he don't have the following behind him. I look at it like I look at Tank Davis with boxing. I think Tank got popular because he got the hood behind him too. And he got like the hip hop community. He got that cool factor behind him.
And he had Floyd behind him, and Floyd had
of course he
money.
had Floyd. But I think not just the Floyd part, but I think he became the happening thing to get behind.
Yeah.
SGA don't get that flair. You know what I mean? That's my problem with Jason Tatum. Don't nobody really hype Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum keep his nose clean, good guy. I ain't saying he gotta be a bad guy.
And then when he tried to do it, it was so forced.
It feels forced.
People, but that was all. And only other thing I got, quick response, because this is gonna be a whole nother conversation. We're gonna talk about next week. RG3, how y'all feel about RG3? That whole RG3 Ron call. We kind of talked about it in the group chat a little bit.
I didn't comment on it, but I didn't like what Leonard said. Leonard.
I saw it too late, and I didn't feel like going back.
My problem is, I feel like in this day and age, and I thought you touched on it as well, a lot of things are done with different motives, and we clickbait conversations to just get looks and clicks. I think Marcellus Wiley does this a lot too on YouTube. If you ever,
he's starting to do too much of it.
He do a lot of it, man. I'm like, man, you gotta know the difference between someone who's being genuine and what they're saying, and they just trying to generate conversation to bring looks to their views. And I used to like Marcellus Wiley. I used to watch some of his videos, and they were entertaining. But
when he first left FS1, it was different.
Any bit of gossip, it's like you're a woman. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we don't come on our podcast every week and talk about gossip. You know what I mean? We keep it sports based, and you know what I mean? Like, it just gets a little too much.
So my issue with the whole RG3 thing, and like you said, it's quick. I had to ask because I had to get verification because I don't watch his podcast. I'm not going to watch his podcast either. Yeah. So some of the things that he was saying, he did back it up. So the fact that he was saying things that could be backed up factually, that's one thing. I don't like him bringing it up, but a fact is a fact. Okay. The fact that he had the white wife sitting like the overseer, you know, like a slave overseer, like you know, that's what I had to ask my guys. I said, is she on every podcast? Is that just his normal?
Wait, she is?
Yeah,
she's not though. That's
their joint podcast.
So he brought her on. Now she made her appearances before, but if it's not an everyday thing, then you brought her on to help prove your point against a black woman. That's where your facts, that's where everything else is now skirted because your optics are wrong. You purposely did all this. Now I got issues with you. So it's all bad. And like you said, like I said in the group text, we're giving him so much energy, not necessarily us, but Ryan Clark, you're giving him so much energy,
Platform.
and
You gave him additional
he's
platform.
He's
Yep.
going to play. He's
Yep.
going to cry
100%.
victim now.
Yeah,
Oh no,
100%.
you can't. You talking about he's going to cry.
100%.
He's going to cry Karen
It's already
that's
worked.
what he that's what
already
he pillow
worked.
talks with,
Yeah.
and it's going to grow. It's going to grow bigger and bigger to the next thing that Angel
I wouldn't-
Reese or somebody else
I
does.
wouldn't be surprised if that was her idea. I didn't even think about
Well,
that.
I think it came from the forefront, probably conversations he heard her having with her little homegirls, her white friends. And they probably talked because, they all Caitlyn fans. I think Caitlyn in Baltimore tonight. Oh, she hurt.
Yeah,
She hurt.
they played in Baltimore tonight. Yeah,
They played and they lost.
they played in Baltimore tonight.
Did she play? I think she's hurt.
No, she out for 2 weeks.
She
Yeah.
out for 2 weeks with a quad strain.
Yeah. But yeah, I heard a lot of people was coming to watch her, but I guess she didn't play. But yeah, I think, and I'm not blaming her for this per se, but unfortunately, like we talked about when we had this conversation last year, people will weaponize race in any situation they can if they feel like it's give them the upper hand. And we've seen that a lot happen in this country. Look at the president of the United States and some of the things he's been saying. Look what he's saying about bringing the people from South Africa, over here, the farmers who have been pillaged because of their white skin and that type of rhetoric. Once you link onto that and attach sports to it, it gives people cover. And RG3 is stoking that flame. And it's disingenuous to me. And I won't involve myself in it because I see right through what he's trying to do. And it's all he's doing is trying to create conversation. It's Emmanuel Acho. It's Jason Whitlock. That's what they do. You know what I mean? Like Marcellus Wiley's becoming this way for some reason. I don't get it. And I always respect Marcellus because he didn't always take the one side. I thought he was fair. You know what I mean? Columbia educated. If he agreed with Whitlock on something, he would say why. And I understood where he was coming from.
Max ain't coming to save him, so he said, I got to do something.
And I always thought him and Max was going to link back up, but maybe Max knows something we don't know.
Max still got a contract with ESPN, so that's why he ain't doing that.
So Max just sitting out.
He getting paid to sit out. He's supposed to come back. He's supposed to come back next year. There's talk about giving him that 5 o'clock spot where around the horn used to be. Yeah, but he getting paid. He getting paid to do nothing right now. So
nice.
He got.
Yo, that's crazy. Look, did Max get a little annoying sometimes on First Take? Yes.
Because he signed a contract just before he got that last year on First Take. He signed a new contract with ESPN. So, yeah, he's just sitting on the sidelines chilling.
So they said, we're not going to buy you out. We just want to go ahead on and pay that annual joint.
And ice you out.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway. All right, folks, that's our show for tonight. This has been a good one. I enjoyed this show. This was pretty fun. I had to mix it up with the fellas and take the opposite view on some things, even if I didn't believe it. But before we get out of
it, I'll say this for New York: everything is leading to this moment. So, with that being said, Knicks at 5. Why am I so confident? I want to say it's sweet, to be honest with you. But I get Indiana 1 game. I'm sorry, but I'm confident. It's just a spray confidence, and I'm just confident that we're gonna win at 5. I should say sweet. I really should say sweet.
Say it with your chest. Come on.
5.
There's that guy again.
For Larry, Calvin, they go Nino Brown. Y'all have a good night, and we'll be back right here next week for another edition of Get Off the Damn Fence. Holla at you.